I'm Cade Hoggard. I coach baseball at Oxford High School. This is my first year. So I graduated here in '05. I signed a scholarship to play baseball at Mississippi State University, and I was there for 3 years. And then I transferred to Delta State, finished out there for 2 years, and stayed on as a graduate assistant and coached. And then from there I went to Olive Branch High School and was the assistant for 2 years, head coach for 5 years, and then the past 2 years I've been at Amory High School. And then this year I'm back home at Oxford. Town's grown tremendously since I've been gone. I mean, this was, you know, back in the early 2000s, it was more of kind of your small college town. It was on the path of growing, and I still come back here to see parents and everything else, but I mean, it's night and day from what it was when I was, you know, 16, 17, 18 years old. Wife is from Decatur, Mississippi. She's her dad was in the Air Force, so she's kind of bounced around a good bit, but we met at Olive Branch, you know, so really hallmarkish. We met on the baseball field, so got introduced there. So my coaching style or philosophy, I mean, was very fortunate to play under Coach Polk at Mississippi State and then Coach Kinnison at Delta State, which are two ends of the spectrum. Coach Polk is more of a player's coach and Coach Kinnison is more demanding, and there's a set way to do everything, and both are very successful, and I think I pull from both of them. Or definitely early in my career was more of the demanding, this is how you do it, this is how it's going to be done. I still believe that there's a place for that. You have to be that. You have to give the kids expectations and standards and hold them to that. But I think relationships are key. I mean, being here for the first year, I think, you know, the fall we did a lot of culture stuff. We did a lot of, you know, I mean, competitions, basically checking their temperature on who they are as a person and as a baseball player. And I think once you get to kind of know the kid, then you kind of can help them, you know, on the baseball side. They got to know that you care. You know what I mean? Like, the kids got to know that you have their best interests at heart and you're not just chasing wins. And so I think that's, I don't know, I've levitated more to that. I mean, you know, I think being a father, being older and everything else maybe has helped me mellow out a little bit in that. I mean, there's still times where you're demanding, you know, this is how it's got to be, this is what we're going to do. But I think, you know, setting the standard, setting the expectation, getting to know the kids, and then pushing them to meet those.
It's a new day at MaxxSouth. We are excited to share some great news. In our continued effort to support Mississippi businesses, MaxxSouth is now offering local advertising support. Through high-quality programming, we combine traditional television and premium digital advertising, allowing your multimedia campaign to reach your targeted audience at any time on any device. Call MaxxSouth Media Sales today at 662-701-8628.
The longer the rundown takes over there, the more they're going to forget about you, right? So you can gain a little bit of ground, gain a little bit of ground. Run at them. Baseball is a sport that can get real, you can get stuck in your ways, you know, and especially when things are going well. I mean, once you address everything and you incorporate everything, it's usually about repetition. So, I mean, I think it's kind of, you know, you got to spice things up, you got to mix things up, you got to keep, you know, competitions going. I think motivation for high school kids is, you know, competition. They want to win. I mean, every kid wants to win. Every kid wants to compete. And I think throwing them into situations where they can, you know, where that can come out of them, I think kind of helps. You know, there's a winner and a loser, just like there is in the games. There needs to be that in practice as well, even if it's over a Gatorade. I mean, these guys will scratch and claw for a Gatorade, you know. So I think it's just, you know, I mean, it's changing something up, putting a competition, putting a group against another group, but just little competitions that help, you know, get them going. Like, we'll have energy, you know, scrimmages in the fall. We only have an hour and a half, but we'll put, you know, runs and then energy. You gotta, you know, there's something on both of them. Kind of like what Ole Miss does. We took it from them, but, you know, get some of those guys hey, I'm not having a good day at the plate, but I can bring something else to the table. I think where we're at right now in our season, we're about to start playoffs, and these guys are Oxford's been a good baseball program, so there's a lot of expectations that come with that. I think the fact that this team has grown together, we understand what's laying out in front of us. I think that right now at practice you'll see that's kind of the motivating force right now, is that our best ball is yet to come. Like we're playing for something. So, and that's a testament to the kids that we got. But we're very young when it comes to experience, when it comes to 10th grade's probably our strongest class. We've got a lot of new faces in the lineup. I mean, that's kind of been our forte, is our motto or whatever, is we are inexperienced. Like I think we returned 3 starters from last year's team. So we're going to make mistakes. Let's make it 100 miles an hour. Let's be the aggressors, make people beat us. And they've kind of bought into that. And we've won some games we shouldn't have, but we've also lost some games we shouldn't have as well. Yeah, I told them after senior night, the 6 guys like coming in here fresh, new face. I mean, a lot of success with the last coach, and for them to accepted me, buy in to the extent that I've asked them to. I mean, that's huge, because they're not everybody their first year, and that's where those relationships come in. Getting to know them early in the fall and everything else, but not a whole lot of yelling. I mean, it's more of talking. I think I'm not a big yeller, I guess, but at some point you hold the expectations where we're in year 3 of this. You've been in the program for 3 years. Like we should, we got to know better on certain things. But first year, it's going to be a roller coaster. There's a lot of ups and downs. So you gotta keep trucking every day.
It's a new day at MaxxSouth. We are excited to share some great news. In our continued effort to support Mississippi businesses, MaxxSouth is now offering local advertising support. Through high-quality programming, we combine traditional television and premium digital advertising, allowing your multimedia campaign to reach your targeted audience at any time on any device. Call MaxxSouth Media Sales today at 662-701-8628.
What are we waiting on?
The third and first baseman.
All right, long lead. We go with the first baseman to get the ball. Remember, we've changed it. If he goes to the plate, we're hanging off. We want to throw from the catcher. Make the first baseman throw. Early break. All right, we want to get the ball up here. Okay, if it's Quentin, they'll do just like us. Center Hill's a little more sloppy with it. Center Hill will check this runner, and then they give it up. For me, being my expectations for off season, number one, we want to get stronger. But number two, I think that's where the accountability comes in. We kind of had a little struggle this first year, just with the supply chain and everything else going on. We ordered practice gear. I'm a big, we're all dressed the same. We all, we leave the bus together. We come back on the bus together. We're a team, and I ordered them as soon as I got the team after tryouts, and that was early August, and didn't get the shirts in until we left for Christmas break. It's just a little thing with the shirts. Just if you wear the right shirt, we all look the same. If you don't, you run a lap, and it's one of those that it's not. I mean, it's not strenuous on any kid out here with what we do during conditioning and everything else. That's a warm up, but it's the fact that you have to run, and we have 2 captains, we have seniors. They should police that. We should hold each other accountable instead of a coach having to check on that. So that's just, little things that you hope in the fall that you kind of build that foundation and you build that culture, because in the season, the culture, if you have the culture's kind of the grease that keeps the wheels turning when it hits the fan. All right, got another beautiful day. We look good. All right, it's a beautiful day. Let's get after it today. Everybody got me?
Yes,
okay,
sir.
let's bounce around. All right, we know what this week's all about. Let's have fun, break it down. Let's get after it. Let's go. I mean, it's one of those, we've talked about it. It's when your team guys are your best talent guys, that's when you make championship runs. when your talent guys are not team guys and your team guys aren't talented guys, you know, you're hitting a wall. But we've got a lot of guys that are some of our better guys and some of our team guys, you know, and we're getting there. You know, we're getting some kids holding others accountable. You don't want them to fight, but it's different in holding someone accountable and, you know, and being a punk. We don't want punks. We want, hey, it's my senior year. You know, get on the right track. Current team, I'd say our best attributes is, I mean, I think our youth is that. I think that the fact that we've got a lot of kids that are trying to prove something. I think that we have senior leadership. I think we've got, on the baseball side of it, I think we've got good pitching. We've got a pretty good lineup. We've got some guys that, again, the lights, they've had to get used to the lights. But the thing I love about this team is they're able to. We have been down. I would probably say, you know, I don't have it in front of me, but probably 75% of the games we've been losing at some point, and there hasn't been a time where it's like we're dead in the waters. You know, we talk about throwing punches. You know, we want to go out, we want to get a 0 if we're the home team, go throw the first punch. You know, we want to score first, and there's times that the other team, we won't play clean, they'll score 2, and our guys come off. And you know, being a new coach, because in other programs that I've had, you've had to kind of, you know, battle those storms a little bit with you know, kids just kind of, we can't get back in this game. And with these guys, they've, you know, we haven't fallen down, knock on wood, 7, 8 runs, but it's been 2 to 3. You know, hey, keep chipping away, and there's been a lot of times we've tied it up, we've still lost, but there's been times that we've come back and we've just, you know, we've cruised to a victory. And so I think being tested like that is hopefully going to help us in this postseason run. You know, when I was in high school here, we had the chip on our shoulder. We were, you know, we got second in everything. We got bounced out in the second round, got second in the district, and then our senior year, we won state championship. You know, and then that kind of, you would like to think, kind of steamroll. They had some good teams, but then I know in the round, in Coach Ballman's era, I mean, they were just always going to North Half, going to third round, winning their district. They were just tough. But the thing that you've noticed after leaving high school about Oxford teams is, you know, even when they maybe lack the talent, they believe they belong, and that culture is there of, hey, I'm here. I'm supposed to win this game. And I mean, I think I've had teams that have had talent, but we didn't believe. And as soon as that, you know, we fall behind, we're done. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing this year with, all right, we're down 2-0, no big deal. We expect to win the ball game. And I don't say that to be arrogant. It's just, you know, kind of the confidence we're used to. These kids are used to winning. This program's used to winning, you know, and it takes a long time to get to there, you know, and Coach Baldwin and staff did a great job of building that, you know, and the players that came through before all of us. So, but yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, they've had some success. I mean, they had the 1 year, I think they lost 1 game, like in like 15 or 16. So, I mean, anytime you're doing that, that puts you on the map. 6A itself is a challenge. One thing, knowing where I'm at, Oxford, being from here, graduating from here, is, and being a coach around the area for the past, you know, 10 years, you know how people view Oxford. And again, I talked about our inexperience, and we've had a lot of kids that have been a part of some great programs, but they haven't been the guys that were out there doing it. And it's one of those that you have to bring it every time you play, and that's everywhere. But you know, when the times we've lost this season, you can tell that it was a big win to the other, and I feel like we didn't respect that enough, and just kind of trying to reiterate that. and this is a big deal. People are going to get up to play you. And any time that you've done something and had success, people want to knock you off. When I was at Olive Branch, we had Oxford on the schedule. And being from here, I wanted to win, but also if you won, it was a big win. And so you kind of go and say, the guys out here, we've done, even me as the coach, new coach this year, we've done nothing to earn that. We've done nothing to earn that reputation or that respect from other people. But that's what we're faced with, and we've got to go and we got to scratch and claw to keep that. And we've bought into that a little bit. Last week we kind of it showed its head again. 2 days in a row, we dropped 2 games we shouldn't have. And I think we kind of, that was the the little jump start we might have needed for the playoffs. And then another challenges we've had 2 guys. We've had some injuries. We've been hit with some injuries with some arms. We lost our center fielder. We lost a guy that would have probably been in the lineup some way, somehow. Don't know if it would have been in the outfield, in the infield. He's a good ball player. Those guys are. We've got the infielder back, but he spent his whole season, in a back brace, and the other guy's in a, tore his PCL, so he's been in a brace ever since spring break. But the beauty of that is adversity, right? We've got to have somebody step up, and we've had guys step up. And we had a senior. This is his first year play. Stepped in at second base. He's done great. I couldn't ask for more from what we've gotten out of him. We've had a couple outfielders step in and fill roles, and so that's great seeing those guys. Hey, next man up. I mean, it speaks volume as a coach. Looking at, that's great. You feel a need for this year, but we can move forward with that and tell those stories. I'm big on, hey, 2022, Aiden Golding stepped up, filled a role, and this is the season he had. All you need is an opportunity, but you got to prepare, doing the kind of like that. So as a coach who's looking at the long game, I think those challenges were going to end up being successes for us. Lafayette and Tupelo, it was that way in early 2000s. It still is now. Crazy thing about Tupelo is I ended up going to college and playing with a lot of the guys from there and best friends and go to each other's weddings and everything else. But same way with Lafayette. But it's different now because these guys all play summer ball together and they're all connected through social media. When we were growing up, it was, you played summer ball for your high school team and you played the same people. So if you didn't like them during the season, you didn't like them, in the summer, you didn't like them basketball or football or everything else. And that kind of the school identity kind of started growing. But yeah, I would think those are our two main rivals. I went to Mississippi State, so like a lot of these kids give me grief over that, and I've got a few that I poke fun of, and then they played the series this past weekend with State winning, and ultimately I could care less. I mean, I've got 2 guys on the team right now that are Ole Miss commits, so I mean, I'm living in Oxford. My son, we're out in the front yard. He's 5. We're hitting baseballs. He'll say, Daddy, you're the Chargers, I'm the Rebels. And we'll play a game or whatever, and I don't care. I mean, I grew up liking Ole Miss when I was here. Needed to get out of town, needed to go experience, go. Oxford wasn't, there's got to be something outside the walls or whatever, so I went and but I mean, I've probably kept up with Ole Miss more this year just because they're in our backyard, just to stay relevant. So, but used to love the Braves. Used to love, the Cubs because they were on TV all the time. But busy now, don't really keep up with a whole lot of them. If I can catch a baseball game, I'm a fan of whoever. Like I want them to learn how to lead. I can scream until I'm blue in the face, but until they buy in, we're never going to get anywhere. Nothing's ever going to change. But I hope they can take away that this was their best year of high school ball. And so we talked about it after we dropped the Lafayette game is, it's time for the seniors to be a little selfish, because they only have, you know, we had senior night and then we had potentially 3 games. So you got 4 games left in an Oxford jersey. So it's time for you to be a little selfish. You know, it's time for you to speak your mind, you know, because the rest of the guys and, you know, the coaches will be back next year, you know, and so, you know, leave the place better than you found it and, you know, enjoy it, but go after it. And, you know, you kind of see the light bulbs going on, you know, a couple guys, they're going off to play, you know, college, but these are, you know, as a guy that did it, these are some of your best years. These are some of your fun, you know, you don't remember a lot of the baseball games, but you remember the bus rides home. You remember, you know, like all our kids dyed their hair blonde. You're going to remember that, as ugly as you looked. Like that, those pictures will always surface back up, you know. But those things, you know, just the things that you're, when you get to college, and the team, you'll have some good teams, but for the most part, more kind of individual based. But you know, here you've grown up with some guys ever since middle school playing together, and it's special. So enjoy it, and then, you know, hopefully you learn the lessons that you learned here and go be a good human, you know, go be a good dad, go be a good husband, whatever else you do, you know what I mean? So come back and see us. Don't forget where you came from.